Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to discuss the starting point of IPC, basically Unit 1 of KSLU syllabus. It's a revision video. So we'll see the jurisdiction of IPC. Where is it that IPC is applicable? The crimes that are mentioned under Indian Penal Code and the punishment that is being mentioned, where is it that these crimes and the punishment, the provision basically is applicable? So the word crime, right? The word is not defined anywhere under the Indian Penal Code, but all acts that may violate provisions mentioned under the Indian Penal Code, right? For which a punishment is being prescribed, that will be something that will constitute a crime, right? It may be an act or an omission which I have done and it violates any provision mentioned under the Indian Penal Code. So that will make it a crime under IPC, and I will accordingly be responsible to face the consequences or the punishment that is being prescribed. A crime is an act or omission which is prohibited by the law, right? If it is prohibited under IPC, it will be a crime under IPC. If it is prohibited under some other legislation, it will be a crime under that specific legislation which we have. So a crime is injurious to public. It is punishable by the state for welfare of public at large. As we know, in case of civil law, its impact is very less. It will be limited to the concerned person or maybe his family members. But in case of crimes, we consider that it's a very serious offense and it affects the public at large, right? It affects the society. So that is what simple introduction maybe you can give in case there is a question from Unit 1 with regard to this. Now, Indian Penal Code has basically two different parts. All right, the entire Indian Penal Code with 511 sections, we can divide it into two different parts. First part is talking about general principles and the defenses that are available. General principles as in principle of mens rea, right? Actus rea, guilty mind, guilty act, common intention, common object, abetment, criminal conspiracy, etc. And as well as the general defenses which we have like mistake of fact, judicial act, accident, necessity, child, unsoundness of mind, intoxication, consent, private defense, all of that. Similarly, on the other hand, we have specific offenses. First of all, we need a basic understanding on the principles that constitute a crime and what all defenses we have in case a case is filed against us. Then we have specific crimes like crimes committed against the state, crimes affecting human body, property, right? Crimes committed against Navy, Air Force. Similarly, we have multiple different types of crimes that may be committed against all these bodies. So there are few more which I have not mentioned here, but you can always go through the barrack and see what are the different types of crimes that may be committed in India. It's like a broad classification that we have with regard to different sorts of crimes that are provided under Indian Penal Code. All right. So if even if there is a question from murder, culpable homicide, hurt, grievous hurt, right? You can mention all these things. You can mention that there are specific types of offenses that are there under Indian Penal Code. And it's chapter 16 of Indian Penal Code that talks about offenses affecting human body, right? Murder, culpable homicide, hurt, and all that stuff. You can include these things in your introduction as well. And also you can mention that Indian Penal Code is a substantive law that talks about different types of crimes that may be committed and also what will be the punishment or consequences that we need to face in case we commit any such wrong. Now, regarding the application of Indian Penal Code, it applies to the whole of India, including the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh. It came into force from 1st of January 1962. Right? It's very easy to remember this date anyways, from the starting day of 1862. I'm assuming you all already know that Indian Penal Code is of the year 1862. You can just remember it started from the very first day of this year, 1862. Now, regarding the jurisdiction, there are two different concepts. One is territorial jurisdiction and another one is extraterritorial jurisdiction. right? So Indian Penal Code has two different types of jurisdictions, territorial and extraterritorial. What is territorial jurisdiction? All right, every person shall be liable to to punishment under Indian Penal Code for every act or omission contrary to the provisions thereof, of which he or shall be guilty within India. That means whatever crimes, right, it may be act or omission, are mentioned under the Indian Penal Code. If I commit them within India, right, I will be made liable for that. Whoever commits those crimes, they will be liable. Even if a foreigner enters India, he or she will be made liable under the provisions of Indian Penal Code if he or she does any act or omission which is prohibited under IPC. Right? So territorial jurisdiction as in whoever is within the territory of India, right, and commits any act or omission which is forbidden by IPC, that person will become liable under IPC. Why? Under its territorial jurisdiction. That you are within this territory where IPC is applicable. And what is this territory? Whole of India, including the union territories of Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh. Now, there may be some exceptions with regard to a foreign sovereign, foreign army, high dignitaries, right, corporations, because like a corporation, right, a corporation cannot commit certain offenses like murder, right? A corporation cannot commit the offense of murder or culpable homicide or hurt or grievous hurt, right? So there are some different types of crimes which a corporation may also commit, but there are some classes of crime which cannot be committed by a corporation, and murder is a very good example, right? A university cannot kill a person, right? So same ways, there may be certain exceptions, but otherwise territorial jurisdiction as in whoever is within the territory of India, that person will be made liable under IPC. Whether you are a citizen of India or a citizen of some foreign country, you will be made liable. Next is extraterritorial jurisdiction. Any person liable under the Indian Penal Code will be similarly liable, even though the offense was committed outside India. Like I am a citizen of India, you are a citizen of India. We both went abroad for some purpose, and there we committed a crime against each other. What happens is we may be made liable under Indian Penal Code in India. That is extraterritorial jurisdiction. What is jurisdiction? India is the jurisdiction for IPC. We committed the crime outside India in some foreign country, but still we may be made liable, held guilty in India. That is extraterritorial jurisdiction. Right? While committing the crime, we were not in India, still we may be made liable. All right, so even if a crime is committed on land, high sea, aircraft, we may be made liable. It's basically very simple. What is the scope of IPC? It's whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh. There are two different concepts, territorial, extraterritorial. What is territory? It's a jurisdiction that is fixed, right? Geographically jurisdiction that is fixed. So territory is India. If you are committing anything in India, you will be held liable whether you are a citizen of India or not. Extraterritorial as in, otherwise you are liable to be tried in India and to face the consequences of IPC, but you went to some foreign country for some reason. That will not make you immune from the liability of IPC, right? You can still be held liable under IPC. That is extraterritorial jurisdiction. Outside the territory you went, you committed a crime there, but still you are held liable under IPC. So that's about the jurisdiction of IPC. You can easily mention what is territorial, what is extraterritorial. You can give some examples also, and you will be able to explain the concept. So thank you.